Okay, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
So what I discussed in last class.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, what I discussed in last class.
About lists.
Lists, sir.
What is list?
Collection of data items.
List.
Data. Okay, right. Of similar type or dissimilar type?
Both, sir.
Both. Okay. Right. How to create list?
We have to use square brackets, sir. And separate the elements and items in the list are separated by commas.
So we have to use the square brackets to create a list, and the elements or items in the list are to be separated by comma. Okay. Yes. Can we have negative index value for the list?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. What is -1? If I write -1 as an index, then which element it refers to?
Last date
Previous.
item.
Last, sir.
Last data.
Last item of the list. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yes. Again, 30 students. Hmm. Right. Somewhere in between your class, I'll take attendance today. I'll take attendance. Okay. Okay. Right. So we'll continue the further part of the list. That is some more operations that we can do on list. With the examples, we'll see that. Okay. Let me share the screen first. So what is slicing? What is slicing?
Cutting.
Yes. I think in your home, you might have already experienced of doing this slicing, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Family pack ice cream. So the next job is to cut the ice cream into slices or pieces, right? You do this or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here again slicing, so we can do the slicing operation on the list. You can take any list, then we can perform a
Sir,
slice.
your voice is breaking, sir.
Device is breaking. What happened in the morning? Now am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
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 So basically, the slicing is nothing but retrieving the sub list from the list. Mean cutting the long list into sub list. Okay, pieces of list. Okay, that is called as retrieving sub list from the list. Okay, so then how to do that and what are the steps we need to follow to do that? Okay, so we'll see with the examples here. So first you create a list. Okay, I'll go with the, for example, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'll take a long list. Okay, right, 70 and then 80. Right. So now how many are there? How many items are there in the list? 8 items are there in the list. Right. Now I want to get a sub list. I want to get a sub list from the list one. So then how to do that? See, for example, the operation can be carried out with the two integer numbers by listing or by writing in the square brackets separated by colon. See what I'm telling you? To retrieve a sub list from the list, what you need to do is you need to use a two integer numbers that are to be written. Those two integer numbers are to be written in square brackets separating with a colon. For example, I'll write now here start from 1 and end with the index value 5. Right, it is again, it starts retrieving the list, it starts retrieving the sub list from the index position 1, and it goes up to 5 but not including 5th index value. Right, so now if I execute this one, now look at here, starting from first index value, that is 1. That means, so 0 at 0 we have 10, at 1 we have 20, so starting from this first index value, that is 20. Right, so this 20, from this 20 it will start retrieving 1, then 2, then third position, then fourth position, then it will stop, because fifth position it will stop. Right, so did you get this one now? Hello all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is this first one? What is this first value? What is the first integer number here?
1.
It is called a starting index. Starting index, right? 1 is starting index. Then what is this 5? What is this 5? Hello?
Ending, sir.
Yes.
Last index of the element to be, mean where we need to stop the sub list. Okay, so that is first one, first number indicates the starting index, and the second number indicates the end index or the last index. So that will not be included in the sub list, but it will stop at that index value. Right, so that's why starting from 20 it has retrieved up to 50, and it has stopped at index position 5. Right, so likewise, now you tell me list one of 0 colon, right? So if I write 4, now what will be the output?
10, 20, 30.
10, 20, 30,
10, 20, 30,
10,
40.
20, 30.
10, 20, 30.
20,
Yes,
30, 40.
20, 30,
20,
40.
30, 40.
10, 20, 30, 40.
10, 20, 30,
40
40.
also, sir.
Right, see, starting from index value 0, that means at 0 we have 10. Right, then up to 4, not including fourth index value. Right, up to 4, so 0, 1, 2, then 3, so fourth position will not be included. Right, fourth position will not be included, that's why we'll get 10, 20, that is 0, 1, then 2, then 3. So only these 4 elements will be retrieved from this sub list. Are you getting? This is called a slicing. This is called a slicing operation on the list. Getting the sub list from the main list. Right? Then now you tell me, if I write only one argument, that means only one integer value, and second one, if I leave empty, what will happen now? If I specify only one integer, that is first integer value, and second one I left empty. Now what will happen? What it will retrieve? Yes?
0 index.
Complete list.
20.
1 to last.
1
Sir,
to
10
last.
to 80.
1 to last.
Okay, 1 to last. See, we have given only the starting index here. We are not specified the end index value. That means it will go up to the length of the list. That is up to the last element of the list. Since second integer argument, second integer value is absent, it will take up to the last index of the list. So now look at here. Starting from first one index value 1, that is 20. Starting from index value 1, that is 20. So from 20 to up to the last element, that is 80. Did you get this one now?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, sir.
likewise,
Yes, sir.
the first one empty, I'll leave the first one empty and I'll specify the last one. For example, this 5. Now what will be the output? I left the first integer
Start
value
from
absent, and then second integer value.
And start to
Yeah,
Start from 0 and 50 position.
0 to 60.
starts from 0 and ends at
0 to 5.
up to 5, but not including 5. Correct?
0 to 50.
Starting from 0th index value. Starting from 0th index value, that is 10. Then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So at 5 will stop. That means the output that we get is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Starting from 0th index value, if the first integer value is absent, it takes by default 0 as the starting value. Are you getting my point? So in the previous example, the second integer argument was absent. Okay, second integer value was absent. So it was taking by default the last index value. It was taking by default the last index value. If the first integer value is absent, then by default it will take the 0 as the starting index and it goes up to the given number. Right? That is, then if we just write simple colon here, then what will happen? Yes?
All the numbers.
Full list
sir.
will.
All numbers, sir.
All numbers,
First
sir.
integer is absent, last integer, second integer is also absent. That means first index will be always 0 by default. First integer value will be 0. The second index, second index value will be always the last index value of the list. So that means starting from the first index value to the last index value, it will retrieve the list. Got it? So mean that, so you can specify two integer numbers. You can specify two integer numbers. The first integer number will be the starting index from where it has to start retrieving the list, sub list, and second integer value is where to stop it. Okay, where to stop the second index value, where to stop the list, sub list, retrieving the sub list from the list, right? Then what happens, you can leave either of the one as absent or both can be absent. So here I have left second one and here I left the first one and here I left both the integer values. So accordingly it will work and it will get the sub list from the list, right? Then now if I want to look at here, if I okay, I'll show you some more operations and then I'll take here. Now see, even you can use the functions within the square bracket. See, for example, I'll write here list 1. Now what is this list length? len of list 1, len of list 1. What is this one? Len of list 1.
Length of the list.
Length of the
Find
list
the
one.
length of the list. That means the number of elements of the list, number of data items in the list. So mean, what is the value given here? Starting value 0, and here it will take the value as the number of elements in the list. The total number of elements in the list is 8. So that's why it will take 0 to 8. So that means the entire list will be retrieved. Are you getting my point here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now,
Yes, sir.
now I can do the list slicing operation with the 3 arguments, mean 3 integer values. Okay, what is the third one then? So now we already understood the first and second one. The first one indicates the starting index, the second one indicates the last index value. If I use the third integer value, then what it is? That indicates the step value. That indicates the step value. What exactly it mean? So now look into that one, right? So I'll take now 1:7, right? Then I'll write 1. So now what is this? So starting index value is 1 and go up to 7, but not including 7th one. In each step, we have to increment the value by 1. The third argument indicates how much to increment in each step, right? So now if I go with this one, now it is retrieving 10, 20, starting from first index value, that is 1, index value 1, that is 20, then 30, 40, 50, 60, then 70, up to 7, that is this one. Okay, at 7 it will stop, right? Now change this one with the 7 colon now 2. Now what will be the output if you go with this way? List 1
20,
of
40,
1 colon
60.
7
20, 40, 60.
20, 40, 60.
40 60, correct?
60.
Yeah, 20 40 60. So starting from index value 1, that is 20. After this one, it will jump by 2 step. It will jump by 2 step. Then it will retrieve 40. After this one, it will jump by 2 steps. That is 60. Then at 7, it will stop. So it will not include that 7. That's why it will not take the 80. Right? So that's why we are getting only 20, 40, 60. Right? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
If we use only
Yes,
two
sir.
integer
Yes, sir.
values, if we use only 2 integer values, the first one indicates start index, the second one indicates the last index. And the third one, if you use the third argument, third integer value, then it indicates the step value. Step value is nothing but
Step
how
back.
to increment in each step. Getting my point? Right. Now, if I want to reverse this list, so I am having 10, 20, 40 up to 80. So I want a reverse order of the list. Then how to do that one? Look at here now. So since there are 8 elements, okay, so what I'll do, I will get that one with the operation length of list 1, right? Then leave the second index value empty, then write the -1. The step value can be even negative also. The step value can be even negative. Are you getting my point? Step value can be even negative. So in each step, it will decrement the value. So starting from length of list 1, that is 8. Starting from 8, so it goes up to, it goes on decrementing the step value, and it goes up to starting since we have not written the second integer value, it goes up to the first index value. Since we are going in the decreasing order, so it will go up to the first index value. So that's why you see here now, if I execute this operation, then we'll get the list in the reverse order. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This,
Yes, sir.
you can write, see for example, I'll write 6 colon, right, colon, then -1. If I write this one, so then it will start from the index value 6, okay, so that is 70, and it goes up to first index value while by decrementing -1 in each step. So that is 70 to 10, right? So now reversing a list is easier or not?
Easy, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So these, what you need to understand here from these examples. So in your program, in your application, meanwhile writing some applications, so you may require this kind of operation. So you need to use these kind of operations in the program. Later I'll take some programming examples where you can apply these concepts and you can understand, right? Now same thing I have discussed here with the PPT. So these 2 slides, I discussed the same thing with the examples. Right now, so this I already discussed, length of a list. So by using the len function, you can retrieve the number of elements in the list, right? Then now coming to the next operation, that is changing values in a list with the index. Okay, changing values in a list. So what you need to understand, so basically like lists are mutable in nature. What do you mean by mutable? Mutable, what is the meaning of mutable? Yes, mutable, immutable. So you might have studied these concepts in even in DMS. In mathematics also you might have come across these words, mutable, immutable. Yes. Hello all.
Changing, sir.
Modification, okay, modifying the content of the list, modifying the elements of the list, okay, so that is called as mutable. If a object can be modified, then can be called as object is mutable in nature. So if the object can be modified, then it can be called as it's mutable in nature. See for example, if I take a string, okay, let us understand with the examples. Okay, understand with the examples. See, for example, if I take a yes, okay, and if I assign some value to it, that is string, right? Now, S is having ABC. Since it is a string, it is always immutable in nature. Immutable means the part of the string cannot be modified. Right? Now, what does it mean here? See, for example, if I write S of 0, yes, obviously it is retrieving A from it. That means at index value 0, it is having the letter A. And at index value it is having letter B, at index value 2 it is having letter C. But if I try to modify this letter A, mean the index value 0 with some other letter, for example if I write capital A, right? Now issue here, what it shows error, So type error, str object doesn't support item assignment. Mean the strings cannot be modified. So part of the string cannot be modified. But if you want to overwrite entire string, yes, you can do it. For example, if I take this one, now the content of S is XYZ. Earlier it was ABC, but it has been modified to XYZ. Entire string can be modified or can be overwritten. But if you want to modify the part of string, mean some letters of the string, then it cannot be done. So that's why it is called as immutable in nature. Strings are immutable in nature. But how about list then? How about list? So I am having list 1 with the values 10, 20 up to 80, right? So can I modify the elements of the list 1? Can I modify the elements of the list? See, for example, now I want to modify the first index value, that is 10 to 100. If I want to modify the first element, that is 10 to 100, then can I do it or not? I can do this operation.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes.
No, sir.
See, listen. Lists are
No, sir.
lists are mutable in nature. Strings
0 to 8.
mean they cannot be modified, but lists are mutable in nature. Mutable mean they can be modified, they can be altered, right? So now look at here. Now this one operation has resulted. So list 1 of 0 to 100. So now if I execute list 1, now see here the first element value, it has been modified to 100. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So mean the lists are basically mutable in nature. Mean the elements of the list can be altered, they can be modified, right? So any value, any element of the list, for example, I'll take 5. So that I will set it to, for example, 500, right? Now if I see the content of list 1, now look at here, the fifth index value has been modified to 500. 60 has been replaced with 500. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
So that is what I wanted to discuss with the mutable. Lists are mutable. You can change an element of a list using the index operator. So this we call as index operator. Okay. So this we call as index operator. So writing an index value with the square bracket is called as an index operator. With the help of this index operator, you can modify any element of the list. Right? Then how to do this concatenation and replication? So this we already experienced with the string, right? Concatenation of 2 strings and replication of 1 string, right? Yes. See, for example, if I write ABC plus XYZ, what happens now? What happens with this one now? ABC is 1 string, space XYZ is another string. If I write a plus in between that, so what will happen? Yes.
Concatenate, sir.
Concatenate.
So you get a new string with ABC space XYZ. Like this, you can use the plus operator to concatenate 2 existing lists and create a new list. Yes, the same plus operator you can use with a list to concatenate 2 existing lists and to form a new list, to create a new list. See, for example, now I am having list 1, right? I will concatenate this with 90, 100, right? Now if I write this one, now look at here the new list. So we are having the values 10, 100, 20, 30, 40, 50, 500, 70, 80, right? Now these two elements have been concatenated with a list 1, that is 90 and 100, right? Did you get this one? Concatenation of a 2 list. Concatenation of 2 lists can be done in simple way with the help of plus operator. But has it modified list 1? Has it modified list 1?
Yes.
Modified.
No, sir.
I have
No,
concatenated
sir.
list 1 with the another list, that is 90 and 100. But has it modified list 1 or my list 1 is not altered? Yes.
Not altered.
Yes, obviously. So list 1 has not modified, but by the concatenation we get a new list. So we can store it in another variable. For example, I'll take a list 3. Okay, I'll write list 1, list 1 plus, then I'll take a 90, 100, right? Now if I execute this one, in the list 3 I'll be having the concatenated list. I'll be having the concatenated list, but list 1 will be as usual with the original content. Are you getting my point? So plus operator is not going to modify the list, but it is going to create a new list. Plus operator is going to create a new list by concatenating the two given list. Not only two given lists, you can go with the multiple list. For example, list 1 plus like you can take 90, then plus you can take 100, plus you can go with 110, right? So now look at here. So plus can be used any number of times. So any number of list you can specify for the concatenation, right? It's too simple to do. Concatenation is too simple to do. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now, say here I given other examples like A equals to 1, 2, 3, B equals to 4, 5, 6. Now, if I write C equals to A plus B, then I'll be getting 1 to 6. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the C. So that's why the output from C will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got it? But A still remains with a 1, 2, 3 and B also still remains with a 4, 5, 6. So the given original data which are used in the list will not be modified. Only the destination, that is C, is modified. Right? Then replicating list. So what is replicating? Repeating the same string multiple times. Repeating the list with a multiple times. Same list with a multiple times. See, for example, if I write ABC, it's a string. If I write *2, so ABC string will be repeated for 2 times, replicated for 2 times. We will get ABC, ABC. Are you getting my point? So you can write, so if I want to replicate 3 times, I can write here 3 times XYZ. 3 times I want to replicate XYZ, right? So now 3 times XYZ will be repeated, right? So the string with the multiplication operator and the integer number. So we'll do the replication of the string. Similarly, you can do the list also. The list can be replicated. See, for example, I'll take a simple 10, 20, 30, right? Then I'll write 3. Now what will be the output? There is a list with 10, 20, 30 and I'm replicating it for 3 times. Now what will be the output from this step, from this statement?
10, 10, 10, 20, 20, 20 and 30, 30, 30, sir.
No. The order what you mentioned is wrong. So 10, 20, 30 is an entire array, is an one list. So that list will be replicated for 3 times.
10, 20, 30, 10.
10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, then
3
10, 20,
times.
30, right? So you'll be getting list will be multiplied. List will be replicated for the given number of times. Right? So this integer number can be before or after the list. So as I shown with the string, right? So if I write 2 times list 1, so I'm having list 1. If I want to replicate for 2 times, then you can do this, right? So the same content, the entire content of the list 1 is replicated 2 times. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now removing the list, removing the elements of the list with a del statement. I mean there is an operator called as del. There is a keyword called as del. With the help of that keyword, you can perform an operation called as removing an element from the list. Removing an element from the list. See, for example, now I'm having list 1 with the 100, 20, 30, 40, 50, 500, 70, 80. Right? Now I want to remove this 500. I want to remove this 500. So what is this index value? What is the index value of this 500? Yes?
5.
5. Right. Now
5,
how
sir.
I should remove that?
5, sir.
So for that, you write DL. DL is the name of the operator, right? Then name of the list, that is list 1, and the element to be removed, that is 5th element. Now, if I execute this statement followed by list 1, if I print the values of list 1, now look at here, 500 has been removed from the list. Are you getting? So with the help of DL operator or DL statement, you can remove any element of the list. You can remove any element of the list. For example, if I write list 1 of 2, then second, the element at index value 2 has been removed, that is 30. right? So now if we see the output, now 30 has been removed from the list, right? Are these simple operations are simple to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So most of the time in the question paper, most of the time you'll not get a question to answer or explain this something like that. Okay, you'll not get questions something like explain the following or explain like delete operator, explain replication, explain something like that. You'll not get questions of that kind. Okay, so they usually give the questions will be of type, what is the output of the following? Okay, they will give you this statement, they'll give the input, they'll give the statements, then you need to predict the output of the statements, and then they may ask you the reason for the output. If any error, then what is the cause for the error? If output, if it produces correct out, if it produces some output, then what is the reason for output? Mean what is the explanation for that output? Okay, that way the questions will be asked. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Right. So
Yes, sir.
work with the examples. Okay, after my explanation, work with the examples so that you can remember and you can also understand the errors, or so if output, if you get some output, then how it is going to work with that list, how it is going to retrieve or read the data or do the operation on the list. So that all you can understand with the examples, and then you can explain the same in the question paper. Okay, with the questions, right? So the next one, the in and not in operator, right? So basically when we write list, our usual task is finding for some element in the list. Okay, whether a particular data item is in the list or not in the list, that's the operation we usually do. Because usually the search operation, we do search operation. For example, have a list of student names. Have a list of student names. Assume that have a list of student names. I want to find out a particular name is in the list or not. A particular name is in the list or not. So then how I should find out a particular name is in the list or not in the list? So that we can do with the help of in operator and not in operator. Okay, right? How to do that one, you see here now. So I'm having list one with this content, right? Now I want to find out whether 40 is in the list or not, right? From the output I can see yes, 40 is in the list. So that I can check out with the value, with the keyword in, that is the operator in. Now look at here, just if I write 40 in list one, if the data is available in the list, it will return true. If not available, then it will return false, right? Now look at here, 40 in list one, yes, 40 is available in the list, so it is returning true, right? Now search operation is simple as we do a simple operation here, simple line, one line of code is doing the search operation, right? So now if I write 80 in list one, right, it's available, so it's there in the list, so it's showing true. Like if I write 120 in list one, then what happens? What will be the output? If I write 120,
False.
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 120 is not in the list, so it will
False.
be false, right? Then now you tell me, if I write 40 not in list one, what will be the output?
False.
False.
Hmm?
False.
False.
False, right? Then 120 not in list one, what will be the output?
True.
True.
Yes.
True.
120 not in the list. Yes, it is not in the list. It is checking for whether it is not there in the list. 120 is not there in the list. Yes, it is not there in the list. That's why it will return true. Right? Right. So earlier 40 not in the list. 40 is checking for whether 40 is not there in the list one. But 40 is in the list. That's why it is returning false, right? So that way, so with this simple in and not in operator, we can find an element is in the list or not in the list. See, for example, if I create a friends list, okay, if I create a friends list, so X, right, Y, then Z, right, sorry, right? So 3 names are there. So now I want to find out whether Y is there in the list or not. So simple, I can do this one. Sorry, what happened? Ah, sorry. I should write it as string. Okay, so I'm searching for a string. So should write it as Y in F. Yes, Y is available in the list. So it is returning true. If same, if I write P is in list, so then it will return false. Getting my point? So E is working with lists easy or not?
Easy.
Easy, sir.
Easy, sir.
Right. So here are some examples. Here are some examples, some more examples. We can work on these examples later. Okay. Right. Then now coming to multiple assignment trick. Right. What is the purpose of this one now? Right. So before I explain with the list, try to understand this one. Now, if I want to swap two numbers, right? See, for example, I have x equals to 10, y equals to 20, right? Right. Then if I want to swap this one, then how I should do it? How I should do it? Right? Using temporary variable, you can do it. Using plus operator, you can do it. Plus and minus operator, right? And you can using the logical OR operator, logical AND operator, you can do it, right? So here I'll show you with the temporary operator. Okay, it's a temporary variable. First, I'll take x value in t. Then I'll take y value in x. Then in y, I'll copy the value of t. Right? Now, if I run x and then y, I got the values of 10, 20 in swap form. Right? X has got 20 and y has got 10. Right? But now you see here in Python, the beauty of Python. So if I write just, right, y comma x equals to x comma y. This is called as the multiple assignment trick. Multiple assignment trick. Y comma x equals to x comma y. So now look at here. X value will be 10, y value will be 20. Because x has got here 20. Yes. Are you getting my recent value of x? What is my recent
Yes,
value?
sir.
Recent value of x is 20. Recent value of y is 10. So I want to swap these. So for that simple line, I written a simple line y comma x equals to x comma y. So it has swapped the values of x and y. Right? So that x has got 10 and y has got 20. So the same multiple assignment trick can be used with a list. So what is exactly? Right. Now you see here, I'll write x comma y comma z. Right. Now I'll write here 10 comma 20 comma 30. Now what will be the value of x, y, z? What will be the value of x, y, z?
10, 20, 30.
Yes,
10, 20, 30.
x will be 10, y will be 20, and z will be
20.
30. Right? Look at it. X equals to 10, y equals to 20, and then z equals to 30. Right? So, but in order, it is going to assign the values. In order, it is going to assign the values. See, but if I do this way, what will happen? You see, you know. So I'll take another list now, list 2. Okay. Now I'll take like 10, 20, then 30. Right. So now I'm having list 2. Right. So now I can write